What's dating like for you guys? And how do you date?
We are a dating podcast.
This is a dating
we have to
podcast.
ask.
Cody, you seeing anybody?
Huh?
What's your dating scenario situation?
Wow.
Oh,
we tried to get out of it.
We're filibustering. I can feel it.
I tried to shield for you.
In the gay community, you're two, famous people. You can't just go on Grindr. Like, can you?
You can.
Okay.
Well, when you have a type.
Right.
That's true.
When you have a type,
Right.
they all kind of look alike.
If a thick Jewish woman walks into a bar, I am like, holy shit. That's
Ask
an
her
ex-girlfriend.
Have I had sex with her?
Yeah.
Ass or tits?
Both.
Oh, okay.
Okay, just
Thick all over.
stacked on top and bottom.
Hello, and welcome back to our Friday Feels episode of the U Up podcast. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I'm Jared Freed. It is so good to be back here with you, Jordana, but it is especially good to be here with our special guests. We have Andrew Chappelle and Cody Rigsby of the Tactful Pettiness podcast. Thank you guys for coming on.
Hi, friends. Thank you
right.
so much for having us.
Great to see you guys. I have to say, you guys are the most on-time guests we've ever had in the history of this show. Let me just acknowledge that for the listeners. No one has ever been this on time. You guys were, 15 minutes early.
Because you're early if you're on time, and if you're on time, you're late.
Oh, shit. I guess I was late.
We take punctuality seriously.
Do you think that's part of the fitness and Broadway world? Like,
Oh, yeah.
if you're late, get the fuck out of here. Someone else has got your
Have you ever
job.
been in a fitness class where the instructor is late? It's like,
Really
Not a good
awkward.
look.
Right.
Really awkward.
Not a good
Which
look.
happens a lot in LA because of
Well,
traffic.
of course.
Right.
And a place to park.
And everyone's like,
Where
what
are
should we
they?
do?
It shows how little we know what to do with ourselves. Like, like if you have no direction, you're like, I guess I have nothing now for this hour.
Yeah, well, I think Peloton is like a production studio essentially.
Right.
So I have to be in my class like 45 minutes before the class even starts because there's PAs and producers looking for me. And so I want to make sure that I'm on time and no one else is fucking up their job. And then if I've ever worked on like TV or commercials or set, like
You're really there early.
you got to be there on
Right.
time
Right.
or you're not going to get the job. So I don't know. I'm a punctual person. I actually just yelled at my assistant the other day about punctuality. Okay.
Really?
I mean, no. And I mean, Broadway, you have to show up to your show 30 minutes before it starts, which sometimes shocks people. They're like, only 30 minutes?
That sounds dangerous.
it does sound.
That sounds
slim.
dangerous.
I prefer it because I have had the good fortune of doing shows for long periods of time, 2 years, 5 years, 3 years. And it's like, you kind of need that energy from like getting off of the street and off of the subway to like get you into the show sometimes.
Yeah.
But you can always get there earlier if you like.
I mean, you guys are a part of like huge brands. Like you were in Hamilton, which is like the brand of Broadway. Peloton, that is the brand of fitness. Like, is it like, did you know? What point did you enter in? Like, Cody, I felt like you were there early. Did you know it would be this big thing? I don't know about you, Andrew. I don't know the history. When you got involved.
So this is actually what's ironic about what you just said for us,
Yeah.
right? We were at the beginning of both of those mega ships.
I love them.
Wow.
Like I joined Hamilton before anybody knew what it was. And Cody joined Peloton at the very beginning, and we were friends. And as these things became what we now know them to be,
Right.
our friendship grew.
Yeah. I feel like we were foundations for each other's growth within those two entities or those two journeys. Like,
You could lean on each other.
yeah, and like we saw each other like kind of going into those spaces together and shifted our
What year was this?
2014, but it didn't really start popping till 2015, 16.
for Hamilton?
Hamilton was a 2016.
Yeah, I started Peloton 2014 and it didn't really pop off until like 2020. So
How have you
That's
guys
crazy.
changed? How's the friendship changed?
Well, now we're business partners.
Okay.
I mean, we have a
So it's gotten
podcast.
better, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's just grown. I mean,
Yeah.
we're probably almost close to a decade into a friendship, and so you've seen it mature. We've gone through wild phases and crazy times, and now we're in our late 30s, and
And
trying to be respectable women,
Trying.
trying.
how did you guys meet?
At the club.
At the club.
At the club?
Yeah, at the club, through a friend of a friend.
Yeah.
You
Like,
guys looked at each other in the most. How did we meet?
How did we meet?
What story
Wait,
are
what's
we
your
gonna
name
tell
again?
now?
Appropriate,
Who are
yeah.
you? There's a longer, complicated story, but there was a person that brought us together
Okay.
that we both knew, and we were not friends right
We
away.
didn't really
In
like
fact,
each
we
other
were
at-
kind of
at
allergic
first.
to each other.
Yes.
At first.
Ooh.
Why?
Okay.
I think two dominant personalities in a room, like there's conflict there.
And also, we are very different. Like, I am very, like, type A and a little, intense about things. And Cody's a little bit more of a wild artist type.
Okay, sure.
sometimes.
I'll take it. At times.
Yeah,
I don't know.
and I feel like, especially in our 20s, like, we just hadn't met. Our lives hadn't really intersected in a way that was meaningful yet. But it was Peloton and Hamilton that we were just like, wait a second, like, what are you doing with your money? What are you doing with your money?
Right.
Wait, you want to go on a trip? Like, okay, let's go on a trip. And then all of a sudden, because our friend group had been established,
Right.
we just hadn't really connected. So we had all of the pieces to be friends. We just needed to give ourselves a permission to.
What's dating like for you guys? Like, how do you date?
Oh,
We are
mean,
we
like,
are a dating
that
podcast.
is
We
a
have
dating
to
podcast.
Do you
ask.
want me to
We have
start
to
while you
ask.
think
Yeah.
about
Yeah,
your
yeah,
answer?
go,
Like,
go,
I mean,
go,
you're
go,
two.
go.
I mean, listen. In the gay community, you're two, famous people. You can't just go on Grindr. Like, can you?
You can.
Okay.
You answer the question.
Oh, yeah, because he has to think about his answer. He's a little bit more private than I am. I have always been a little bit more cagey with the Grindr thing because you never know who you're talking to.
Yeah, for sure.
You never know where that's going to come out again.
Right.
And so since I was a baby gay, I was always careful about that because I always had big plans for my life. But when it comes to dating, I think the thing that's always served me is finding somebody that just sees me. And it's not as hard as you think if you meet people where they are.
Where do you meet people?
Well, I met my current boyfriend on Hinge.
Okay.
Okay.
But he's the first boyfriend I have ever met on an app. All my other boyfriends came organically. I met my last boyfriend at a house party. One of my first New York boyfriends I met at the stage door of Mamma Mia. I had done the show
right.
and I came out and he was waiting and he was just like, I couldn't take my eyes off of you.
Oh wow.
Can I take you out for a bottle of champagne?
Oh,
and
wow.
I said, absolutely.
Right.
I mean, can you imagine you're 22 and some guy in a suit does
Oh,
that?
wow.
And
Okay.
we were together for almost a year.
Amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's like a
The French guy?
The French guy.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Why'd
Yeah.
you break up?
He
Wow,
wanted
we're really going into it.
He wanted me to move
Forgot
to
it's a
Paris
dating
with
pod.
him.
Oh, wow.
Okay, big.
And I was just starting my career and I didn't speak the language
Okay.
and he wanted me to just be there in the house.
Did he have money enough to let you be
He was
his
in a
bad wife?
suit, Cody.
He was wearing a
Champagne
suit.
in a suit.
Champagne and a
guy's
suit
got
could be
money.
a
He-
I had
facade.
paying for a Broadway show.
He did
Yeah.
well. He did well, but he did not do well enough for me to live the way I wanted to live. Like, you know what I mean?
For
Like,
you to
I-
give up your
It's
everything.
too late in life
Yeah.
for me to
Well, I
live an
also-
uncomfortable lifestyle.
Yeah, well, exactly. I also, it was less about how he could take care of me and more about the things that I had set out to achieve and the sacrifices my mom had made for me to move to New York and be an actor. And it just felt disingenuous to my story.
22. You got life to live.
got life
You
ahead.
Yeah, I
things
wouldn't have
to
been able to do Hamilton
Yeah.
and be on the Tactful Pettiness
No,
podcast.
Exactly.
New episodes out every Thursday.
It's kind of I feel like the perfect breakup is when one person moves because you never have to see them again. You can have like a friendliness while knowing that it's just like not
Or
really
not
going to work out.
friendliness.
Or not friendliness.
Or not
but
friendliness.
it's easier to be friendly when they're like out of sight. So it's not like you're going to
I
run
would
into them at
agree
the
with
club
that.
and
there's,
be like,
there's no
tempted.
anxiety like going out and being like, are they going to be here?
I
Right.
hate that.
Yeah.
Being on a date and seeing someone else that kind of looks like someone you used to date. I had that. I was on a date. I was like, oh my God. And then they turned around. I was like, okay, thank God. It's
Jump
not
scare.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
Jump
when you
scare.
have a type.
that. Right.
That's true.
Yeah. When you have
Yeah.
a type, they
Right.
all kind of look alike.
If a thick Jewish woman walks into a bar, I am like, holy shit.
Ass or
Have I
tits?
had
Have I
sex with her?
dated,
Yeah.
Ass or tits?
Both.
Oh, okay.
Okay, just
Thick all over.
Wow.
stacked on top and bottom, and
Stacked
sometimes
on-
middle.
All right.
Yeah.
I like that. I don't know, especially depending on where you are in the breakup.
Listen, what happened to me once was I broke up with somebody. I moved to another city, thinking I was going to have that experience, and he moved to the city close to where I was living.
Oh.
And I said, "Well, damn."
Did he follow you?
Right.
Did they give you a
knows?
warning?
Yeah, okay.
I feel like
he
that-
did
that
call
is-
you and you called him back
Okay.
and don't even.
I
The
know.
classy move is a warning.
No.
Hey, I'm moving to your city after the breakup.
It
To
was,
be with you.
he didn't owe me that. He didn't owe me that. And
And you guys had an amicable.
we had a very amicable breakup,
Breakup.
and we broke up for a different set of reasons. And listen, I am also
In fact, we were.
Complicit
I
in
ran
this.
into him both of them on the beach of Fire Island. And I'm like, how are you guys doing? And he's like, well, we've decided to break up.
And
but we're going to enjoy the weekend together.
Exactly. And the weekend was 2 weeks in Fire Island. We were like, we had literally broken.
Same house?
Yes.
Wow.
We were like, we broke up and we're like, let's go to Fire Island together to like end things.
Last hurrah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but then that just like kept going for a year. Like, you know, so.
And your current boyfriend, you've been together how long?
A year and 5 months.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Hinge.
It's his
Hinge
birthday
can-
today.
Oh, wow. Happy
That's cool.
birthday.
And I
Yeah.
can say this because this won't air for a second, but I'm putting together a surprise birthday party for him tonight.
Oh my God.
And he has no idea.
What's the
That's
surprise?
the sweetest thing I've ever heard. I can't imagine anyone ever doing that.
Okay, so the surprise is he is like a business guy. He's not like Cody and I, where we're social butterflies. We're always seeing our friends. We're making plans. We're going on trips. His friends, like he maybe sees one friend a month or two friends a month.
Okay.
Like he doesn't stack it like we do. And so I have gotten to know his friends over the last year and a half, and they all want to see him, but he just doesn't have the wherewithal to make the plan. So I said, I'm going to bring all of his friends to be at a bar waiting. We're going to go see O'Mary tonight with my friends. And then we're going to be like, let's get a drink.
won't be
and
there. I
then
have to
all
work.
of his friends are going to
Wow.
be there.
That's great.
That's great. And how do you guys get along?
Me and Joe?
Yes.
Fairly well.
Yeah.
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 I think you like Joe.
Yeah. I feel like we haven't had like that much time to like connect, but when we do, it's great. And I love that he makes you happy and all
Yeah.
those things.
Cody, you seeing
We-
anybody?
Huh?
What's your dating scenario situation?
Wow.
Oh,
you
we tried to get out of it.
We're filibustering. I
We
can feel it.
I tried to shield for you like in Survivor. I tried to shield
I
for
don't
you.
want to hear
babe.
about you and Joe. I want to hear about you
I
and
think the problem here is that
Joe Blow.
I got out of a
Very long.
6-year relationship about 6 or 7 months ago, and that was very public. So now I'm a little bit more guarded with what I share.
Okay.
There's somebody.
There's somebody, but it's not like official, and like
Okay,
I'm
it's
figuring
early.
it out.
Yeah.
Ish. Yes. So
Yeah.
it's still
I mean, Jared says this
Figure it
all the
out.
time. He's like, the next person I'm not going to show the next person I date until we're like about to get engaged or
I
something.
I
On
agree.
social media.
Yeah.
That's important.
Once you've had to undo that,
That was one element of new dating that so many people didn't have to deal with before, that
Right.
were
Yes.
like conscious of,
The public intro.
well, just like the appearance of the relationship via social media, what people think about that. Are they presentable enough? Do they have this? Do they have that? And I feel like it kind of like complicates
what do you mean
The int-
presentable?
just like,
People judging the person
Yeah,
you're dating.
like-
Yeah.
are they hot enough? Do they have X job? Like, what does their social media look like? I would actually prefer someone without it.
you end up having two relationships: the real relationship that you know you have with the person, and the relationship you present to the world for people that are not in it.
Yeah.
And I think that it's important, I think to both of us, that we date somebody who's not as engaged and plugged in with the
Yeah.
online world, because we are so in the online world.
Right.
I am happier dating like my boyfriend does not care about Instagram. We went on a trip at the end of October. He posted the pictures from the trip 2 weeks ago. And I was just like, we've been on 4 trips since then. Why did you post that trip? And he's like, oh, I saw the pictures. I thought they were nice. And I'm like, okay. And it's
Was
nice
there a
that way.
hashtag latergram on it?
Oh God, I don't
hope
know.
so.
I don't know.
I hope so.
But it's nice. It's nice to keep things as private as you can.
Well, right.
Yeah.
Plus, plus that doesn't like the followers aren't like a mutual thing.
So me and my ex broke up once, then we broke up the second time. Now it's over. The first time, a lot of like my followers or fans would then go and like send him not nice messages.
Oh, wow.
And I hadn't even said like we broke up. I was just like, I'm single. So then they went and I didn't say anything about what had transpired or not. But then they went and like sent him not very nice messages. And so I'm also like conscious of that.
Right.
Right.
You want to be
I under-
protective. A little
Yeah,
bit.
a little bit. Even though we broke up, it's like I don't want people to send you nasty things or you feel a type of way about it. Like nobody knows
Right.
our business.
is that the Peloton community?
I mean,
Well,
I'm
what
sure
is-
some of it is.
Well, I'm saying,
Yeah.
what is that community like? Like,
Usually, I mean, a community of just like lifting each other up to work out and do hard shit. But
are they involved with your personal? Like, to me, if I
Well,
go
the
to
Peloton
involved?
instructors
No.
are stars. I feel like so you guys,
that's
right?
my point.
Right, that's what
It's
I'm
like
saying.
when I go to a fitness class, I go, I like that teacher; they're pretty good. But like, is it different because there's this parasocial relationship?
there's definitely a parasocial relationship.
Right.
I mean, people are tuning in to take a class with me on a weekly basis.
Right.
I always think of it like my Peloton ride is not just a workout, but it's almost like a podcast on wheels or like a show where I'm sharing a lot about my life, my mom, my relationships, my friends, what's going on, all these sort of things. So they are tuned in to what I open up and say about. I mean, I tend to keep things light and fun,
Right.
but they know what's going on and can read the room. So then I guess.
Right. Why haven't you
I'm
referenced your boyfriend in a while?
Yeah. And so then it's like, I guess they take that into account. They can read behind the lines and feel like they need to like protect or do something for me. And I'm like, baby, I'm not asking for that.
Right.
People be doing too much.
People be doing too much.
People be minding other people's business a little too
much.
intently.
Yeah.
So like, you won't even need to say anything, but then they will be on his Instagram seeing that he was out, and they'll be like, "Can you believe he is out right now?" And you're like, "Girl, you don't even know him."
Right. Well, that's
It's
like why
crazy,
people
yeah.
watch reality TV. You can talk about other people's problems and not yours. So
That's fair.
if you share, Cody as a Peloton instructor, oh, have you heard? He hasn't mentioned his boyfriend
Yeah.
in a
Right.
while. You go now. You wouldn't. The other person that you share, the class with, you guys got some juice, and you don't have to like worry about your own feelings.
Yeah,
For sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
Did you like announce the breakup, or is it just
No.
kind of okay? What level do you
Announcing
think?
a breakup.
I mean, some people do like they do a post. I know a lot of you have been wondering, or something like that. I don't know. People, I don't.
that wasn't y'all's style though.
That's not my style at all. No.
Right.
You know what? I think maybe, and I don't know if like your reference point is kind of like reality stars.
Maybe that's more than
Like I'm thinking your reference point is like reality stars who kind of have their whole brands, income,
Right.
life connected to staying relevant.
Right.
That's a good
and
point. Yeah.
Being in headlines or blogs. Not to sound, I don't need that. So like
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
need to have.
No, I think that's a
I
great
don't need
point.
to like keep my name in the headlines in a salacious or like provocative way. I'd prefer not to.
Right.
So like that's my business, and like it's not gonna. I don't need a breakup to like rocket my career.
Well,
Yeah.
listen, and no shade. We know someone who broke up with someone many years ago, and they're still milking that breakup.
A lot of people, I think, right?
Yeah, it does become people's. I mean, look at Brad and Jen and Angela.
I mean, that's not them. That's like everyone else.
But
right?
their PR
Yeah.
people, like they're in the
Yeah.
news still. Like that, those are still
Right.
headlines.
Brittany
that
and
people-
Justin and Selena. Like it's always gonna.
Oh, yeah, it's
always
crazy.
But I
gonna
guess
be that.
I guess it's interesting. Like the Peloton thing is so new, and
I've been there 10 years, but like,
but as
but
a
within like an entity within the last 4 or 5, yeah.
and as like a kind of a form of entertainment.
For
Like,
sure. Yeah.
the idea that you sign in and you're putting, and the way you put it is true. Like it's your show.
Yeah.
It's your weekly show that you're putting on for people.
Yeah.
And it's also people's workout that they're involved in. But I wonder, we're all new to this. I think that's kind of the reason we started this podcast. Like the intersection of this phone with dating, where your parents could never go, well, your mom used to, send me snaps every week. And you'd be like, no, they have no reference point.
Yeah.
You don't really know.
Yeah, because
what it
you're
is
only on
until you
Snapchat to
experience
send nudes, let's be honest.
Right.
Yeah.
Only,
You're definitely not telling your grandkids about it later.
Possibly. Well, let's see how progressive they are.
You should have seen your grandfather's
that's
dick
balls.
when he
That's
was
right.
younger. Wow.
So,
Should we-
I mean, we have an email that we want to get into. Are you ready to?
An email?
Could you help us help a listener?
Of
Oh my
course.
gosh, we do this on our podcast. We love helping
We
listeners.
love
Yeah, well,
helping.
one email and then a petty or prudent, which is basically where someone breaks up, they do something. Is it petty, or did it have to be done as prudent?
Okay.
I'll read the email.
yeah.
Let's
Let's
go.
hit it.
J&J, I'm a 42-year-old
Oh.
gay man in Chicago. Jared, please gasp. I guess I gasp at the idea that we have a gay listener. Is that okay?
I don't know.
He's a 42
And
42,
Yes.
42.
gay and
Oh,
in
yeah.
Chicago.
That's like a 100-year-old.
Yeah, essentially.
There's a lot of layers there.
Yeah.
Okay.
About 2 months ago, I met a guy on Hinge. Things started off great. We've had a few fun dates, though we haven't seen each other much because of our travel schedules. After our last date, he texted, I think there could be a spark here. which I loved hearing because I felt the same way. Since then, I've had a couple of moments where I wasn't sure if he was brushing me off or just taking things slow. I suggested hanging out on a Saturday before I left town since we wouldn't see each other for 3 weeks otherwise, but he passed on the offer. Then we had plans for Thursday, but he canceled because he was sick from bad Korean food. Totally understandable.
Not too much of my kimchi now.
Yeah. He even gave me plenty of notice and suggested Sunday or early the next week instead. I said Sunday worked, but when I followed up, I realized I had theater tickets for Wednesday.
Okay.
Gay, I know. And I offered them up. He was down for that instead, and we've kept in regular contact through texts and road trip pics. Now I'm starting to wonder if I'm being strung along or if he's just pacing things. I don't expect him to cancel our theater date, but I really want some momentum with one of these guys. I only have so much more Tinder and Grindr left in me. I don't want to be a ho no mo. Am I overthinking this, or is he just not that into me? Would love your advice. Thanks so much. Love the podcast. What do we think?
My instinct is that he's just not that into you.
I hate the text. Like,
I know.
I think there could be a spark.
Well, yeah, I think there could be a spark. It's
I don't
just
need
like,
that.
It's too cheesy for us.
That's too cheesy for
Right.
me.
Yeah.
We're too edgy for that kind of behavior on a text. Like we don't like that. But he seemed to really like that, and so to that I applaud you.
Right.
Also, it's like I think that isn't the whole point of a spark that you know it's a spark?
Yeah.
Yeah, girl, and also don't be texting
Right.
me about the spark.
Like,
Just like
did we get a rock
tell me in my eyes. Like,
Yes.
Right.
After
That's
the
something you would
date.
say. That's
Into
something
me.
you would say
Right,
in
yeah.
person, but he's not willing to meet up with you in
Or
person.
yeah, give the spark in person because I'm not
Right.
feeling the spark with the scheduling conflicts. This is what drove me insane when I was dating in New York. Like, you meet these guys on these apps and it just becomes like a freaking scheduling bonanza.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
I can't do this. I can't do that. Girl, are we doing it or not?
Yeah.
So if he flakes, listen, what's his name?
We don't do names.
Oh.
Okay, well, Miss Girl. I'm gonna call him
Miss
Miss
Girl.
Girl.
Protect the innocent.
Miss Girl,
Mr. Bad Korean food.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mr. Bad Korean food, bless your stomach. This man cancels this theater date. It's curtains.
It's
Don't
curtains.
text
Yes.
him no mo. Then move on to the next one.
So scheduling conflicts make sense, especially for two people in a big city. But I feel like if you're going into a headspace where you are ready to like date seriously, you're making sure that there's time in your calendar for that.
Yep.
Right.
I'm not saying you need to like clear your calendar to make sure you have time for dates, but you're allocating enough time to make that happen.
You make time. Everyone's busy. Everyone is here. There's 40 people in this room, by the way.
Yeah.
All 47 and a half people in this room are busy.
Yeah.
But you make time for the things that are important to you.
If you're into it and you're like wanting to see someone, you're gonna move some things around. I'm gonna call Andrew and be like, yeah, I know we had brunch, but like I really want to go on this date with this guy, so I'm gonna
See you
move
later.
things
Right.
Yeah.
around.
I agree.
Especially if you're 42, I'm assuming you're dating someone within like 3 to 5 years of your age.
Well, I don't know, honey. He's gay. It could be
Yeah,
a
I know,
27-year-old for all we know,
but
girl.
someone at that point in your life, you should be like, I don't know.
I think you get one reschedule early in dating. You get one. To me, you get
That's
one
fair.
cancel reschedule
That's
thing. I
fair.
think that's like allowed
Because if
things
I'm
happen.
rescheduling with
Yeah.
you, then I feel like I'm also like, oh, like I want to make sure they know that I'm interested and I'm already rescheduling. So I'm
Right.
thinking in my head like, okay, I really got to find a time that works. That's gonna work, so I
Agreed.
don't flake again.
Yeah.
And when you reschedule, you have got to initiate the next
Yes.
thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
at
and-
the time that you cancel.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, Mr.
I
Korean
can't
Food
now-
should have been like, I'm doing this, come with me.
Right.
Right.
Mhm.
Or like,
Other-
I'm free
yeah.
this night, let's do this.
I
Agreed.
think
Otherwise, you're
I
not
think they just
interested.
want two different things. Like I think gay or straight. I think men love vague options. You know, and,
Oh.
like men love having the option. They don't want to like turn something away that could be something. And that's when I saw like I think there could be a spark here. It was cheesy, but to me that was hitting the snooze. Like because you're like, okay, I just want 15 more minutes of
Yep.
having access to you.
And-
like when I see that, I'm like, that is this guy. Because you do this with people where you're like, well, I don't want to have to make a decision now.
Yeah.
So let me let you know that I'm into this. I like you, but I'm really not looking to make the time for you. I think this guy's got like a roster. I mean, like,
Oh.
and no, I mean, is
No,
there
you know-
rosters? I mean,
Yeah.
how would you?
No. It's
just-
also no one wants to feel like an option, and it seems like he's an
making
option.
an
Right.
option,
And that's not fun.
But this guy's even saying, I don't want to be a ho no mo. I'm done with.
Yeah,
Tinder and
he's ready to
Grindr.
settle down. He's 42 and ready to not be on Grindr, so that makes
Right.
sense that he'd want a partner that's committed and like building a life. So for sure.
Listen, if this man can't meet you for a theater show or a cup of coffee, what makes you think he's going to be coming to your house at night and cooking you some chicken and broccoli?
Right.
Right.
He ain't coming to the house to cook the chicken and broccoli.
He's asking, someone who's like looking to go out for chicken and broccoli to be a home cooked chicken and broccoli.
Either way,
chef.
the man,
Broccoli
the man,
and coffee date sounds horrible because
Whatever,
of the
but
bad breath.
This guy has
and no one's going to make
but
it
either way,
stomach
afterwards.
issues too. He can't handle kimchi.
Yeah,
honey, they ain't
and those
eating
vegetables
nothing.
make you gassy. Broccoli makes you gassy.
Either way, he could be gassy because he'll be at home by himself because the man won't even meet him on the corner.
Fair.
2 strikes and he's out. I agree.
Yeah, I think they want
Good
to.
luck,
I think
hon.
he's dealing with someone he thinks he can change into.
I think Mr.
Yes. Like
a boyfriend.
42-year-old, and that's not a read. Just he wants to be chosen, and you're going to too many lengths to be chosen by this person.
Right. Clearly, they're not on the same page.
No.
All right.
Let's do a petty or prudent.
Okay.
You guys
Yeah,
ready?
and we are petty.
Yeah.
We are.
Well, we're about to. So we'll see if you agree that this person's actions are petty or had to be done.
Tactfully petty.
Tactfully petty, yes. Hey, J&J, love the podcast and thought you might enjoy this petty or prudent. I broke up with my now ex-boyfriend after dating for 6 months, but it was pretty amicable as far as breakups go. However, when I went to the bathroom, I could hear him rummaging around in my nightstand drawer. I had a feeling about what he was doing, but waited until he left my apartment to confirm.
Stealing poppers.
Sure enough, he had taken the remaining condoms with him on the way out.
Ew.
He clearly
What?
waited until I was out of sight to dig them out, so it felt kind of petty to me. On the other hand, he did buy them, and I guess the implication of leaving them would be that I'd use them with other guys in the future.
Oh.
I found it more funny than anything, especially since he had also previously complained about the price of them. But curious to hear your verdict. Best condoms in this economy?
Wow.
Is
Honey,
it
they-
petty or prudent?
He sounds broke as hell. So she, I'm good. Honey, he's so broke he gotta steal the condoms from the drawer where they break up. Hell no.
I know this is
I
a straight
agree.
couple because they're using condoms. And, baby, they give out condoms. You can go
If you're
to a
complaining
doctor's
about the
office and
condom-
get free condoms.
Well, this is like the price of eggs. The minute you're like, how, like it's like when people are like, the eggs are so expensive, you're like, are you okay? The condoms are too expensive. Like,
And I
Are you
will say
okay?
this, maybe it's not even the price of them. Perhaps, I always think about this from when I have purchased condoms or anything that has to do with sex.
Okay.
No matter how old or mature you feel like you are, there's still a little bit of like, is anybody watching? Like when you go to CVS and you're like, I'm going to buy the condoms. Like, you would prefer not to. Do you know what I'm saying? There's still like,
It's not your favorite
You're like, you
purchase.
just went there for condoms, but I'm also going to grab like some gum and M&Ms so it looks like I'm buying multiple things. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, there's a shame still with adults that feels like when you're buying those things, there's a little bit like, oh, I hope no one's watching.
Yeah,
I
like-
agree. I mean, if you were a cashier, I would look at some. I would be like, interesting,
right.
Yeah.
But
'cause
I
do a
don't
like,
double
think that
take.
far ahead.
Yeah.
I think this guy's looking and being like, it's my bat, it's my ball. I'm going home.
I think it's-
You're not fucking with my condoms. You're not going to the next guy.
I think
I'm
it's
not-
more that. I think it's the pettiness
petty.
of like, okay, we're breaking up and like, I know you're going to fuck somebody else.
Right.
So like, I'm going to take these.
Listen, the man should be bringing the condoms anyway.
Well, I guess he's saying I want to bring this to my next partner.
Everyone should be ready and prepared.
Everyone should be ready and prepared, but like whoever she was going to have up and through there needed to come with his own protection situation.
If I'm breaking up with someone, I want out of the house. I'm not thinking of like,
You wanna leave.
Where's
well,
my
it sounds like she broke
condoms?
up with him.
Right.
Maybe.
Oh.
Amicable, which to me, the
Amicable?
person who describes it as amicable is the person who did the breaking up. Usually the
Right.
person who got broken up with
Oh.
is never quite as happy with the other person. I think she broke up with him.
Yeah, I think so.
And
too.
it sounds like for good reason. If that was his priority when she wasn't looking, that's also not really something he needed to do when she wasn't there. It's just condoms. He could have been like,
Right.
"Hey, do you mind if I take these condoms? Like, you're not using them, right?"
Right. If I was having an amicable breakup with someone and then suddenly they went to the drawer and they're like, I'm taking my dental dams.
Oh.
I'd be like, okay, well, good luck. Seems like you're not happy
have
about
them.
this.
And there's an alternate version of this story where, like, after the breakup, he already had someone queued up and he needed those condoms because he had hit up his roster and he was gonna.
Finding, he
I
had
don't
places
think
to
the
be.
same guy who has a roster, like a woman waiting to fuck him, is this a guy who's collecting, nickel and diming condoms.
The broke guy.
He sounds
Yeah.
cheap.
Listen,
Yeah.
no, son, don't be knocking the broke
I want to
man
know how
community
much.
because
I want to know how
sometimes
much condoms
cheap
are right
man
now.
community,
Right.
not
Listen,
broke. I
Also,
think this is a cheap.
she said he commented on like the price of them before, like when he bought them.
Right.
So you have
That's
to
a
know.
cheap dude. That's
Right.
a sickness.
what a weird thing to complain about. hey, babe, got the condom. So expensive.
I mean,
Right.
baby, a
Crazy.
Trojan variety pack at Sam's Club is $12.48.
You can afford that.
Yeah.
Anyone can. Yeah. If
$12.48? If you can't afford
that, you shouldn't
$12.48,
be
you
on
should
it.
not be fucking.
Right.
Period.
Agreed. Agreed.
Yes.
Yeah. That's like, oh, well, maybe it's an excuse to like not wear them. He's like, oh, you know, he had already used the excuse. It feels different.
Oh my God.
And now he's like,
It
oh,
does.
the
It
price.
does, but you know.
Look, we're putting all this money into condoms.
Oh
Kids are
my
expensive.
God.
We could be going on
getting lunch.
vacations.
Yeah.
So is the question, was he petty or prudent? Or
Yes. Was he
Yeah.
being
He
petty
was definitely
or
petty.
prudent?
he was definitely being petty.
I agree.
Well, we agree. This
We
was
did it.
great. We solved dating again.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for
Andrew
coming
and
on.
Cody.
Thanks
Everyone
for
go
having us
listen to
on.
their podcast. It is called Tactful Pettiness.
And we'll be on it next week.
Yes.
Yes.
And we're going to be talking about rosters.
Yeah.
Which is so you brought it
You
up, so
queued
it's
it up.
amazing.
the roster.
Teed it up.
And we're
Love
going
it.
to get into y'all's rosters.
Oh,
honey.
Okay.
Past and present.
Good luck to Jordana's husband.
Oh,
Okay. So he's in the first position.
well,
on
we
the
can
Yes,
look
he's
at-
number
we-
one on the roster
Okay.
for sure. Yeah.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
We'll be back next week.
All
Boom.
right. Bye.
Thanks, booze. Bye.